What's up? Let's get quirky! Man, it is Tuesday, 3 p.m. We're getting quirky with or without you. So if you're joining in live, we're glad you're here. We've noticed there's about a minute delay on this, so please comment, ask questions. We're here for you, but if you don't hear from us in a minute, it's because we're just now in the future, and the future's looking good though. So about a minute from now, everything's great. Everything's fine. We're all still here. And the crisis is a little crazy, yeah? Hopefully you're doing well out there. I have definitely getting a little stir crazy at home with two little ones. I got a 3 and 5-year-old, and some days make you want to go nuts, but they're awesome. I'm getting a lot more time with them, which is great. Our team has actually been remote for a while now, so we're kind of used to being able to work from home, even though I like to be out and about at places. But hey, if you're out there and you're working hard to keep the essential places going, or you're in the health industry, thank you so much. It means a lot. And our prayers go out to you, and we pray for health and safety. But also if you're dealing with the virus or anything out there and it's close to home, or you yourself, our prayers go out to you, and we hope this ends. You come out of it 100%, and we all come out of this better than ever. But we have decided to do this live stream because my number one motto in life is I'm always one person away from changing the course of my future. And in order to live out that motto, I got to meet as many people as possible and get to know them, hang out with them, and see if anything, if there's any type of connection or things that might alter something I'm doing now, something in the future. And that's kind of how we built our team here at Quirk Advertising and our business as well. So we can't do that anymore when everyone's stuck at home, right? So we had to find a new way to do this in a live stream fashion and bring on other people, friends, people from our business, other businesses, and talk about marketing, but also just talk about ways that we can get through this together, ways that we're trying to build business through this, and create more connections, hopefully, even doing it virtually. So if you're joining in, we're so grateful you're here. I'm seeing already, it says, is this the dancing app or is this really you, James? I'll let you find that out, John. So today, very excited. I'm interviewing a good buddy, friend of mine, and co-partner in this business. Basically, this guy has helped transform one of the core pieces of what I call for our company. We're on episode 7 today, and we're meeting every Tuesday and Thursday here at 3 p.m. live on Facebook to my channel, and we're going to be creating a landing page and stuff in the future for YouTube. For those of you that like to binge watch, you know, and we're doing a lot of that right now, right? So we're bringing on our buddy Chris Rivera. He is our certified StoryBrand guy. I'll let him talk about that here in a minute. But we're talking about using story in your marketing. So let's see if I can switch over. Chris, you there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
What's happening?
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. You just been hanging out here watching me this whole time, yeah?
Hey, yeah, no, I have, and it's been great. And I think you might have said Tuesday at the beginning, but I think today is
Oh my
Thursday?
goodness, I did. You know what? I don't know what day it is. The month of April's already felt like 5 years, right? Like we're just
one big day. It's one big day. That's just what it is. So
You're so
you
right.
can
It
call
is
whatever day
Thursday,
you
y'all.
want. We're good.
I still
Yeah.
feel like I have a week's worth of work to do. I'm stuck at home, and yeah, good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So, Chris, how long have we known each other?
5-6 years. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would say maybe a little
around there.
longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gotten to really know each other through the marketing world and other companies.
Yep.
And man, we met together and we started talking about StoryBrand. That's kind of how what brought into what I would say the core pieces of our business is story and clarity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you jumped in, man, and we've really taken off with this. But I'm glad you're taking over today.
Yeah. Hey, you know, what? I'm here for you, man. Always
You're
here
here
for
for me?
you.
Aw,
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Even
man.
on when it's not Tuesday and it's Thursday.
That's right. Even when it's Thursday.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. Well, here,
Of
I'll let you do a
course, man.
takeover. I'm going to switch over, and you go ahead and kick off
Right
episode
on.
7, man.
Right on, right on, right on. All right. So the big question I wanted to just kind of throw out there, and you might be hearing this, you might be even asking this question. Can we really use story in our marketing? Marketing, you can do a lot of different things in marketing, but one thing that we've been kind of hearing about out on social and just in the world out there is how to communicate clearly and how to use story in your marketing. And I'm not talking about, a children's book or some sort of story where once upon a time. I'm not talking about that kind of story. I'm talking about a story where you create a world that your clients and your customers can picture themselves in, and so you get an opportunity to kind of create a story, a narrative that others can be a part of in your business, and that's a super important thing to do because in the world today there's a lot of different ways of marketing. There's social, there's print, there's you're just bombarded with a bunch of information, but the information or the ways to really break through all that is when you can grab the attention of the person you're talking about. And what a better way to do that than story? When you think about it, think about a book that you've read. Think about your favorite movie, things that have been really, really that will grab your attention that you never forget. Usually there's a narrative there. There's some sort of story. There's something that grabbed your attention and you were never able to forget it. One of the books that I really like is Leadership and Self-Deception, right? And that one's a great leadership book, but it's written in story form. And it's not a real story, but it makes me feel like I'm literally there. And and that's one of the things that I'll grab a hold of and take leadership tips from all day long. But one of the things about story that is super important to know is it's a sense-making device. That's why we're able to remember them. Go back to a movie you recently saw in the theater, and when you're sitting down and you're watching this movie, one maybe that you really really enjoyed. Not only are you getting the feel of being in that theater, the smell of the popcorn, the big screen in front of you, the people that are next to you. Imagine that time you were there, and not just that feeling, but then when the movie began, all of the frustration because of the problem in that movie, or the excitement because of what happens in that movie, you'll never forget that. It starts to create senses, that kind of etch that in your memory. And so the question really should be, why wouldn't you use story in your marketing? But one of the biggest things that we have a problem with when it comes to story, is really knowing our place in that story as it relates to our customers. So now we're talking about you. We're talking about your organization, your partners, your customers, your donors, whoever it is. Think about how you communicate to them. Do you know your place inside that story that you're creating? And that's a very, very important question to ask yourself. We're going to kind of talk about that real quick. So the first one that I want to make sure it's clear, super clear, is that your customer, your donor, your partner, they are the hero of that story. You are not the hero. And as much as you want to be, you get out and you want to I'm here to save the day. I want them to win. That's exactly the right thought. I want them to win. Who are they? They're the hero of the story. They're the hero of that movie. That's the Batman. That's the one who's going to win at the end. They are the hero. You're not the hero. Every hero in the story has an enemy. So your customers, your clients, your donors, there is something holding them back from doing business with you. And that's a big thing to understand, is that you're not the hero, but the ones that you're helping, they have an enemy, they have a problem. And it's your job to identify that. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. But just know your customer, your client, your donor, they are the hero and they have an enemy, they have a problem. That could be internal, that could be emotional, that could be physical, that could be right now there's a lot of things that their small business are going against, especially right now. How to communicate, how to keep things moving and keep things alive, right? There's a lot of struggle, and every hero has an enemy. But your job is to guide that hero to success. You're Alfred to that Batman, right? You actually kind of take more of a back seat to the overarching story. But without you, that hero will not succeed. And that's something that if we could position ourselves in that way, that's a huge win. That's a thing that they feel, they'll sense, they'll know that you are actually authentically out to see them succeed, which ends up being a win for you both. Now, one of the things that James mentioned earlier is we love StoryBrand in our company. We use that framework when we're talking about clarity. We absolutely use that framework, and part of that framework is knowing that you are the guide in that story. And one of the greatest things about it is that, if you don't even know, there's even a book. It's called Building a Story Brand. Get into that book if you don't have it.
Oh, random giveaway time. Why not, Chris? Why not? You just mentioned the book, so let's give it away, man. Let's do it for real. So, hey, what should they put in the comment to win the Building a Story Brand book?
They need to put "I am not the hero" in the comments. I am not the hero.
Put "I am not the hero" in the comment. First person to comment that wins this book.
Boom.
Ready, set, go.
I'm not the hero.
Good times, man. Good times.
Right on.
All right, I'll let you get back. Sorry to interrupt there.
Thanks, man. No, that's good. Hey, I like random giveaways. Give away all the goods, man. All the goods. All right. So, as the guide, something that you need to know. This is why it's super important. You might be taking more of a behind-the-scenes approach. You may not be the one that's just up front. Your role is it is the single most important role, because think about it. The hero has a transition from the beginning to the end of that story. Your customers need something, your clients need something, your donors need something, and you're going to help them get there. But they transition. Heroes in the movie, they start off, maybe they're insecure, they don't know, they lack the resources or the education they need, and then they transition into something by the end. That guide, though, they're the ones who've already been through it. They're the ones who've already experienced it. They have more of a level head. They're not so erratic or crazy, because they already kind of know what the problem is. They've fought that same enemy before. So they are the ones that are going to help that hero transition. So you play a big role in their transition. But there's three things that I want to share with you as the guide that you really are responsible for doing, and you should do this. The first thing is expose their enemy. So the hero has an enemy, expose that enemy. And what that really means, just in just normal terms, is share the problem. The moment you stop sharing the problem is the moment they'll stop listening to you. And it's okay to remind them of the thing that they're facing, because sometimes they may not even realize what the actual problem is. They're coming to you, they need something, but it's actually only a superficial thing. It needs to be something that's a little bit more deep. So you're the one who's able to find that, and you're the one who's able to expose that. So share that problem. As the guide, don't be afraid to call out the problem. Do it in love, do it with integrity, knowing that they are going to succeed by what you do, okay? So first thing, expose their enemy, share that problem. The second thing is educate the hero. And that just means give a clear call to action. At this point, they may not even understand what they need to do. They're kind of confused. They don't know where to go. They don't know how to get the resources they need. It's your job to educate them. Give them the tools they need. Give them the education, the excitement, the encouragement they need. But give them a clear action plan. A clear action plan means give them steps to accomplish and call them to action. Literally ask them to do something. In your company, it might be, an organization, you might have a really easy on-ramp process, like schedule a meeting, create your plan, and watch your business grow, right? That might be a nice, easy on-ramp, but the clear call to action is schedule that meeting. So we want to make sure that you're very clear and that the steps are easy, okay? So the third thing you need to do as the guide is explain the success. You get to paint a picture of what life looks like when that hero succeeds. You have an opportunity to craft that imagery. You get to use, this is where you can kind of use story in what you're doing, and just kind of even use the word, literally use the word. Imagine your business, impacting your city, impacting this community, impacting these people. Imagine the team you get to have when you get to train them and give them clear action steps. Paint a picture of what life looks like, because what that does is that gives them something to attain. It's kind of that aspirational identity. I want to become something. This is what we're going to paint the picture of what's going to happen when they succeed. And that's it. But if I can leave one thing for you in this whole story piece, is as the guide, it is your job to make sure that you are clear and that you help your customers, donors, whoever it is, that you help them succeed. Because if they can feel that you are for their success, they will keep coming to you over and over and over again. They will keep coming to you. So that's how you use story. Know your place in that story and own that spot, and you'll see a lot of success happen from it in your business and also in the people that you work with. So, James.
Hey. What's up, man? So, hey, if you have any questions for Chris, take advantage now. He's live, ready to answer. He's a certified StoryBrand guide through that platform, and we're just so grateful to have him on our team here at Quirk. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and I'm going to ask him a few myself to give y'all some time, since we're a minute ahead anyways. I may not know, and you may not know here for a second. So, question, Chris, number one. We talk a lot about one-liners with our clients. So, that elevator pitch, the thing that you say to draw people in. How does that, how can this be developed through what you're saying?
Oh man, the one-liners are actually very, very important. It's really meant to open a story loop. It's to kind of grab the attention of the person you're talking to. So you really don't want to use a one-liner if you don't want to talk to that person about your business, right? It's meant to open that conversation so you can draw more. And really, I kind of shared how to build that one-liner just in the 3 things you do as a guide. Share the problem, give the solution, or what you do to help them succeed, and then paint a picture really quickly. But a one-liner is like a 1 sentence, 2 sentences tops, concise, clear statement of the problem, what you do, and what happens when they engage with you. So that way, you're successful in that statement if that person you're talking to leans in, right? They want to know more. It's kind of like, when you're playing a song and someone stops it before it actually resolves. It's kind of like that. You're like, and yeah, how do I want to, let's keep talking about this. And this is a great statement you can put anywhere. You can put an email, you can put it on your website, you can put it all sorts of places. But that's in essence what a one-liner is. And so you actually can become that guide even in just that one-liner and how you position yourself.
That's awesome. So in the framework for StoryBrand, utilizing some of what you've walked through today, how can this work? You can do it as a whole business, right? Like you do it for your business as a whole.
Yep.
But you can do it just for individual pieces, like a print piece or a commercial.
Right.
How does that work?
Yeah. It's the same. You just have to understand what it is that product or that communication, like let's say you're doing a social campaign, right? And it's something specific. First, understand what it is, the problem you're trying to solve in their lives. You got to understand that first, or they're going to see through it. But anytime you want to create a one-liner or some sort of string of copy, man, just know what it is you're offering, what problem you're solving, and then run it through the same filter. What is that problem? What's the solution that's going to help them? It's going to help them overcome that problem. And then what does life look like? And again, you can take that and put that on anything. You can put it on social, you can put it on print, you can put it on digital billboards, because what it's doing is it's giving clarity. It's not just going, hey, you need to work with me. Well, yeah, like James, you and I, we do this, we've been in this marketing world and doing Quirk specifically for a while. Well, there's lots and lots of other companies that are doing the same thing. The difference is what we do is we frame up what we do through the lens of the hero of the story. What's the internal battle they're facing, and what problem are they going to be dealing with, and how does by them choosing us as their guide, how does it get them to succeed? So anyway.
No, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
The hero and guide part we always see is a really huge deal for our clients. You know, that transitioning from hero to guide, and really flipping that to your clients being the hero. So in your experience, because I mean, obviously you're helping us do this through Quirk, but how transformational has that been when you've gotten to that point for our clients?
Yeah, that's huge. That's probably the biggest part, I think. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do because we wake up in the morning as individuals and we're the hero of our own story. So we get up and we're out and about and we're doing our thing, and we need to do this job because of what it's going to do for our family, or we need to get out and conquer the world because of what it's going to do for me, you know. And so we kind of already wake up thinking about ourselves. And so the hardest part is, how do you communicate something without it being about you, right? So think the about page on a website. Typically, you know, here's the staff page and here's everybody and what they do and their credentials and their education. That's great. But if you can't frame it up in the sense of how is that helping that client, then you're going to lose people because they're only looking at you going, oh, wow, you're showing how good you are. And so it's hard because the aha moment is fast when you go, what? I'm actually the guide. Wow. That the aha moment is quick, but to actually run with that, like, I'll challenge everyone on here, go to your website, go to even your own social, and look at how many times you use the word we, our, us, you know, things that are about you. And this is not I've done this. So we all have the tendency of doing this, but go in there and look and see, and you'll kind of see how hard it is to remove yourself from being the hero and position yourself as the guide.
That's great. And I always like to say, it's not really telling your story at all. It's telling your client's story through the lens of what you're trying to offer.
That's right.
Right.
Yep. That's right.
And that's been big. And we even have, so if you go back to like to episode 1 of our live stream, we break down website with 3 main points, and it's using the StoryBrand framework. We talk about clarity. I think it's episode 3, and this all kind of molds together. But the StoryBrand piece has been massive in really framing it. So Chris, I have another question for you. We get this question a lot, so I'm going to see how you would answer it on the spot here. You know, my situation is different. It's really unique, and I'm just not so sure that this is really going to fit for me.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah. Well, and not everything is for everyone, and I'll start that way. And the reason why I say that is because what is that statement right there? We're saying not everything is for everyone. What that's doing is that's telling them, listen, I'm actually wanting to pay more attention to what's about you than what's about me, right? I would love for you to work alongside me. And StoryBrand in that framework, the 7-part framework, is literally a filter. It is not actually creating the words in your head. It's a filtering system so you know what you're saying. So it works for everyone. But people have to get there. They really do. They have to, because it's going to challenge them to make changes that they maybe aren't prepared to make at that moment, you know, and it's hard. So again, if I were to get that, then I position myself as a guide. What would a guide do in that moment? A guide would say, okay, well, there's some fear. Maybe they've dealt with an agency or a company that burned them before. So what they're trying to do is maybe understand, how am I going to build trust with them, right? And so then I will know at this point, this isn't a quick sale. This is a relationship piece. And let me just actually truly find out what the issue is. So in that statement, it sounds like they've been burned and they have a trust issue. I'm unsure. Well, why are you unsure? You know, what makes you unsure? You're looking for something. Obviously, we're talking, you know, so what about this is bringing some uncertainty? So there's a deeper problem there. And I think that if we as organizations, guides, if we can figure out what that is and speak to that, then we'll help them. And even if it comes down to we're not the ones for them at that time, what we've done is we've thrown some seeds out there. We've kind of planted that trust. And I do think that whether through them or through someone else, kind of indirectly through them as a referral, we'll see something in return, you know, some way to help out more.
Cool. I've got one more. And again, if you have any questions, this is your time now before we end this live stream, but you can always hit us up later. outside of this live stream. But Chris, one more I think that would be really helpful, practical to walk away from today. So a lot of us are stuck at home with our business, and some of us aren't making any money now. Not jumping into maybe a StoryBrand session with a coach or a guy like yourself or our team may not be an option right now.
That's
and that's okay, because we know that this resource and even the book itself, I know you'll probably bring that up as an example, will help you. But what's some DIY things they can do right now, including that book, that would help them today?
Yeah, that's great. So you got that book, so Building a StoryBrand. There's another book, Marketing Made Simple, written by Donna Miller, same guy. So those are two great books. But if you can't even purchase any books, you can actually go on and listen to the Building a StoryBrand podcast. That's a free resource, golden, lots of good things on there. And even if you go to the beginning of this year, to the beginning of 2020, the first 7 episodes on there go through the framework together, right? So that's a good free resource. There's also mystorybrand.com, and it's a virtual brand script that you can go to, and it asks questions. So if you're kind of going, okay, Chris, you talked about the guide, you briefly talked about the 7-part framework. I can't engage with you right now, but I really want to know more. That online tool, if you go through, it'll ask you the questions that you need to answer to bring more clarity to whatever it is you're trying to do, right? And then also, I mean, Quirk, we have some resources, and we have things like this. We have our podcast. We have things that we can do to help, that maybe even offer more of a DIY for you just in the meantime.
Right.
But a lot of what happens here from StoryBrand and Clarity, you can do for $20 or less if you're going to buy a book, or free. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do for yourself. What really makes the big difference is if you get to a point and you're like, okay, I did it and it's good, but I want to make sure it's good, right? Put it in your back, hold on to that thought. And when you're ready, then we can walk through it with you and make sure that that you've done it the way it should be done.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good. I think that free resource online that you're able to just plug it in, it basically asks you questions that you can fill out the answers.
Yep.
And it's very easy to use. And then you look at the big picture of the framework, and you're able to kind of form, even if it's not, maybe it's not as skilled as what Chris could put together today, because he's been doing it for a long time, but it's a nice way to okay, it's way better than probably where you started, and makes you really think about where you use words and how that works. So
that's right.
So yeah,
and don't be afraid.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, don't be afraid. Any movement is movement. So if you clarify your statement, your website, even just 5 or 10%, maybe you're only able to update a few things on your website, or just 1 or 2 words in different area. What you're doing is you're still building clarity.
Right.
And what I like about the framework, and just in clarity in general and story in general, is it's something that you can refine and change over time.
Right.
So right now is a great opportunity to start thinking through that, start going through it, any messaging you have. But I'm not taking it and etching it in concrete and it can never change. Use it, put it away, come back 3 days later, read it again, and just keep refining. So anyway, it's not something that has to happen overnight. I'd rather you spend time thinking through it for clarity's sake.
Right.
You'll see more of a return on that.
No, that's good. And we don't charge people to meet with them. So if you want to, if you just want to get a connection and try to figure out a good way to get started, or just connect in a way that says, hey, this is something in the future, or I'm really trying to figure this out now. If you go to quirkadvertising.com, it's very obvious what we want you to do on there. We have one call to action called schedule a call. So you click that button, and guess what? It sets up a Zoom call with me. Mwah. So you can just set one up. It basically has my schedule on there. You just pick a date and sets up a Zoom call, and we can connect. And if we need to pull Chris in the future or try to figure that out, that'd be awesome too. But we just want you to know we're here for you. And we're definitely excited about what you're going to do with your messaging and using story through how if some of you have some more time right now, really think about how you can use story even to get out of something like this crisis, and use ways that you can frame a story for people that have them excited about working with you when this is over. And there's so many ways you can do that. So be thinking about that, and hit us up if you need some help. But thank you, Chris, for the takeover.
You're welcome,
man.
Hey, anytime. Love it.
Yeah, that was awesome. So we'll be back on Tuesday, because today is Thursday. We're back on Tuesday at 3 p.m. So hit us up here on Facebook. Tuesday again, we'll have more solid content for you next week, Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. And we're going to do our best to always bring you good content, great interviews, and ways for you to connect with each other. So hit us up then, and stay safe, ration that TP, and stay calm, because we're going to get through this. It's just another day, and we're glad you joined us. So Chris, you ready to roll out with some music?
Yes, yeah.
All right, let's see how it goes.